My name is Jordan McCown. I work for the B here at the Venango Chamber of Commerce. Who am I here with today?
You're here with Father Mark Elliston, Christ Episcopal Church on Oil City's historic South Side.
Nice to meet you. So are you from this area originally, or
Yeah, I was born and raised here.
Okay.
Left the area for a while, came back in the early 1980s,
Oh,
was
wow.
just kind of passing through, and
Yeah, and you decided
here
to
I
stay
am,
here. Yep.
45 years later. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, that's awesome. So what is like your favorite thing to do in Venango County as a whole?
Probably work with the community here.
Okay.
Actually, there's so many opportunities for interaction. You know, summertime's just full of events, musical stuff,
Oh yeah.
art stuff, curb market out in front of the church here.
Yeah. It is a very beautiful area. I'm not from around here. I'm from the Philadelphia area, so like being over
Okay.
here and seeing everything and seeing all the people, like it's just
Okay,
it's
well.
very different for me. So how about how you got involved with like ministry and stuff like that?
Well, let's see. When I came back to the area, I was actually involved in a family business. We had a jewelry store here from the 1890s on. I bought that out at the end of the 20th century and ran it through till we sold off the property, shut the store down. And at that time, there was a shortage of priests, which has gotten much worse. And the local bishop said the only way this is viable is if you raise up a priest from the local congregation. And when I lifted my head up, everybody was looking at me, and I went, oh, okay. And prayerfully considered it, went into the ordination process,
Okay.
and worked online for a little over a decade for a
Okay.
company out of California while I was getting all my training to be a priest. I've been
Awesome.
priest here for about 9 years now.
Okay, that's really cool. So like has like faith always been like a big focal point in your life?
No, I came to that around 1990
Okay.
and got involved with the church through got involved in a 4-year study program, education for ministry. And by the time I was done with that, I was pretty much enmeshed in the life of the church, you know, chalicing at the Mass,
Okay.
reading, turned into a worship leader from there on.
That's awesome.
Conducted morning prayer services when we didn't have a priest
Yeah.
on hand.
Okay.
And then turned into all this, and now I'm active in the life of this church, a couple other churches in
awesome.
our area, because we're in a collaborative Episcopal ministry now. There's 3 to 5 Episcopal churches working together due to the priest shortage. And I do services up at St. James in Titusville. I did some of my internship up there.
Okay.
And I go up there first Sunday of the month and handle a service, and a deacon from the Franklin Church handles another service
wow.
there, and a retired clergy person handles another one, and then they have worship leaders in their church that do morning prayer the other Sundays. But Franklin, Oil City, and Titusville are locked together in core ministries, and then on the periphery of that, we've got Christ Church in Meadville and Church of Our Father over in Foxburg. They're also affiliated with core, but not quite as active as the 3 of us are, and that's just due to geography.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So do you mind telling me a little bit about like how you came to God in like the 90s? I'm kind of interested in hearing a little bit about that testimony and that type of story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it has to do with the fact that I'm a person in long-term recovery, and that kind of led me into exploring the spiritual aspects of my life. I was a cradle Episcopalian, but after confirmation at age 13, I kind of wandered off and didn't come back until my early 30s. And that EFM course, Education for Ministry, it's a pretty serious course out of our seminary down at the Sewanee, Tennessee, one of the Episcopal seminaries. And it was mediated by Father Joel Clark Mason, who was here at the time, a priest from Tennessee and Georgia that we were blessed to have for a while, and that introduced me to the faith, and I just moved on from there, and not always under my own power.
Yeah, there you go.
know?
Amen. That's how it is. So how long has this church been around in this area? Like I saw like from 1886 out on it was like engraved on the building. Tell me a little bit about
That's
that.
actually this building. We
Okay.
started meeting in the 1860s over in the 3rd Ward where National Fuel Gas has their
Yeah.
utility building. That was the main business district at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have met in rented rooms over there like Bascom's Hall and places like that. And there was actually a minister, Prudhomme, I believe it was, from Titusville that came down and did services here. And then in the 1870s, we built our first building. It was a wood frame church down where the Masonic Hall is located now. And we operated out of that building until the 1885. We acquired this property, started building the church. First service here was Easter Sunday, 1887.
Oh, wow.
In that church building. And then the parish hall, and we're kind of in the back of the parish hall now in addition to the parish hall. That was added on in 1910. And at the peak of it, you know, when the oil business was at its height here at the turn of the 20th century, we actually did 3-4 services a week here. We had a mission up at McClintockville, probably 500 people on the register.
That's really awesome. It's really cool. Like, I love the history of this area. It's really cool. It's really rich, and like I spent all day in Franklin hearing stuff about over there, and like the Civil War and everything. It's really amazing.
Yeah, and the church building upstairs, we had a minister here at the time, Reverend H.B. Brooks, during the fire and flood in the 1890s.
Oh, wow.
The church was actually used as a hospital facility. We didn't have a community hospital
Yeah.
at the time. And the parish hall out here was actually used as an overflow during the Spanish influenza epidemic of 1917, 1918.
Wow.
And one of the memorial windows up in the church is for a victim of the Spanish influenza.
The church took so much time to like care for the people in that type of situation, because I know it was a really bad time period. So
It was.
yeah, definitely. So like in your opinion, like what makes this church like so special?
I would have to say the level of community involvement that we are is really one of the outstanding features of this church. We certainly focus on our Sunday worship. We take our worship seriously. But that's really just kind of like where we're supposed to recharge our batteries. I mean, that takes an hour or two out of a Sunday morning. That leaves a lot of hours in the week.
Yeah, right.
And we feel we're called to be doing God's work in the world, that the majority of our ministry occurs outside
Yeah, that's awesome.
of the church. And we've got a tremendous amount of community ministries going on. I mean, we're a small church. If you come in here on a Sunday morning, you will see 20 to 30 people, but we do community ministries that a lot of much larger churches don't do.
That's really good. That's good. Yeah, like something about having like a smaller community that is like very intentional about spreading the word of God. It's like really it's really powerful, really impactful. Because like I just came back from a mission trip in Colombia with like some people from my church group, and it was such an amazing experience, just us six just being there, just being able to spread the love of God and everything like that.
We're currently actually involved in fundraising to build a school over in Tanzania. That's one that reaches outside of our local community, but for years we actually sent members over to Tanzania. I know my daughter was on one of the trips, where we took care of an orphanage, mostly children whose parents had died in the African AIDS epidemics. And we took care of the milk funding for that school for years and years and years. And then things kind of fell apart with that relationship, with some changes in their management over there. But again, that community recently reached out to us, and we're in the midst of trying to raise money to build a school for the children
awesome.
that have grown up in that
Yeah, that's great. Like,
community.
have you ever been on on those
No.
trips? No, Or just
No,
more
they
administrative?
keep me too tied down here.
Okay,
no.
yeah, that's cool. But it's good that you like. What was your daughter's experience like? Did she tell you anything about it, or like
Well,
anything
the
really
first
cool?
thing she did, she knew her diet would be limited over there, and she was a vegetarian before she went, so she reaccustomed herself to eating meat just in case, she didn't have too many options over there. And the thing I liked most about it was, she'd grown up in a, relatively entitled Western home.
Yeah.
And when she came home one day, she was standing at the kitchen sink and just turned the faucet on. She goes, running water. This is so neat, Dad. You don't know how neat it is to have running water, because there they'd walk through some relatively snaky places,
right.
3 miles to roll barrels
Yeah, it's
back from the well in the area that wasn't contaminated, that they could actually drink water from. So yeah, she got a look at how things are in a lot of the world.
It's really interesting, like how like going on those trips really puts into perspective what we have going on over here.
Yeah.
Like not a lot, like something so simple like running water. Like people would do anything over there to have that. So it's really impactful to be able to. It's really humbling to be able to like understand that and be in that type of area. So.
Yeah, and the Episcopal Church nationally has always been very actively involved in issues like that. And we had a deacon here at the time, Charles Kopp, who passed away years ago, that was very active in the work of the diaconate. Deacons in the Episcopal Church, that title can mean a lot of different things, but a deacon in the Episcopal Church brings the needs of the community to the church and sees that the church is serving those needs. There's very few deacons around now. And for a long time they just turned into kind of like assistants to the priest. And
Yeah, right.
Deacon Charles was one that really led this diocese back into, no, this is what deacons are supposed to do. We're connections between the community and that. And churches like this one that don't have a deacon, members of the congregation and me, the priest, take on a lot of those diaconal roles. As a matter of fact, you have to serve as at least 6 months as a deacon before you're ordained to the priesthood, just so you have familiarity with that role. And I never left all the trappings of the diaconate behind, because I'm still pretty actively involved in the community.
That's really cool. So I know you mentioned like community like a really big part of everything that you do here. Like, what is something you would tell like somebody who's looking to make this church their home, their church home, and like come into this community and be a part of it?
Well, I'd say first off, come and enjoy the worship experience with us. We preach the word at every service. I don't know if you're familiar with Episcopal services, but there's always an Old Testament reading, a Psalm reading, a New Testament reading, Gospel reading, followed by a brief sermon or homily related to specifically to those readings. We're not one of the churches that just kind of preaches on whatever we want to. We preach on the word that's been given us for that week. Then we get together after church. We socialize. We're a warm and welcoming group, and you will find tons of ministries here that you can become involved in for outreach. For instance, tomorrow I'll be supervising Oil City Main Street Curb Market. It spreads out all around the church and onto the churchyard. More vendors this year than we've ever had before. Utilizes the church property for a community benefit. It benefits local businesses, local farmers, and we feel anything that makes a stronger, healthier community is living the gospel. It's doing God's work in the world. In addition to that ministry, we run at least 3 different food ministries here. We have a blessing box out in front of Cap Hall where people can just pick up food. It's no criteria given on that. We run a Second Harvest senior food program. And most of that we actually take and distribute up at Town Towers. Now, originally it was distribution out of the church. We got so many people that were physically challenged at Town Towers that we started taking the food up there, and we actually have more clients in the towers now than we have coming to the church. So we're going out and meeting those needs where they exist. And then we also distribute bags here as part of community services, Pantry on Wheels program, where the center where all the food from the postal workers food drive comes in. It's sorted out, it's distributed to this year I think it was up to 6 local food pantries that benefit from that. We're involved in the Commission to Dismantle Racism and Discrimination, which is our diocese of Northwest Pennsylvania. As a representative of that commission, I'm also involved with Together We Can, a local pro-diversity group, and we'll be having the first Juneteenth celebration in Venango County, down in Franklin Park on June 19th. We're involved in the Southside Neighborhood Association, which built the playground out on East 3rd Street. We do a big community pool party at the end of this month. Volunteers are always, you can get a hold of me if you want to help out with the pool party. We do a couple other things there. We just recently had a children's art program. Yeah, that was our May meeting, and that was here. We actually held that one here in the parish hall, because if the kids got sloppy with the paint, we didn't need to worry about where it went. It'd end up on our floor, nobody else's. So we did children's murals in there. We're active with Emmaus Haven, which is the local homeless shelter. We're working with a group that's trying to get a local warming center together during the winter time. Building serves as a backup for a lot of Oil Heritage Festival events. We always participate in First Night, have community entertainment in here. We run a great one, Pajama Project, which is we distribute about 600 pajamas with age-appropriate books. And we just actually kind of put that together and partner with all sorts of school and other associations that actually do the distribution end of that. Majority of Oil City's recovery meetings are held out in our social hall there. So yeah, for a small church,
you do a lot of stuff.
We keep busy.
Yeah, that's good. That
keeps us off the streets and out of trouble. You know?
Yeah, like that's like one thing about like church, like smaller churches. Like you do so much to the community. It's just never really like noticed right away. But like, you just continue to keep working, and continue to keep pressing into that. So that's really good.
Well, and our social hall out there is a great venue. It's still got a lot of churches dismantled that had older stage areas and stuff. Dismantled those. We still have a performance stage in there, so it's a great venue for local events. We hold a lot of meetings in there. Some of the home health care people also come in and do their CPR training for home health care workers in there. And we're just so conveniently located, you know, right off the Central Avenue Plaza. Downtown, we've got great neighbors all around us, you know, right next door to the Oil City Library, which is a good friend of ours and somebody we help out as much as we can. I know some of our people here are very active, involved, and friends of the library. We think that's a very important community asset
definitely
to keep going.
Yeah. So I got one last question for you. So for someone who's never visited your church or Oil City in general, like, what is one thing they can expect when they first get here, when they first walk through the church doors, and when they first walk in through the streets of Oil City?
First thing they would expect when they walk through the church doors is to be welcomed by us, you know. We'll probably ask if you're familiar with our service. If you need any hints, you know, we'll be glad to sit with you and work right through the service. I know last week when I was up in Titusville, there was somebody here that for the first time that forgot their eyeglasses, so they couldn't really follow the service bulletin. We put everything we do in our service in one bulletin, you know, just so it's convenient. It's all right in front of you. You know what's going on. But of course, he had a little trouble following because of that. So somebody slid right in next to him, kind of guided him through things.
Yeah, That's awesome.
Yep.
The little things make all the difference.
Yeah, we want you to feel comfortable
Yep.
here.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time,
Certainly.
Father Mark.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
It's been
you
a
talking
pleasure.
with me. Yes, sir. It was really good. Have a good conversation with you, and I wish you all the best with the church with everything going on. So,
Okay.
thank
Best
you.
to you as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Blessings to you.
You too.